15th ranked Sarah Ellerby has already secured this week her best finish ever on the WPBA Classic 9-ball tour. The diligence and hard work that have characterized her journey from England to America and from unknown qualifier to the top echelon of the women's game are about to be put to the sternest of tests. To move into her first final match, the woman they call Velvet will have to turn back the Irish invader, Karen Corr, who continues what seems like an eternal quest to regain the #1 ranking she held in a Player of the Year season in 2001. Two hungry players after one spot in a championship match. That's what it's about, as the WPBA Classic Tour offers up some California dreaming. From the fantastic Viejas Casino in Alpine, California, the semifinal action at the Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Hello everybody, welcome inside the Dreamcatcher showroom at Viejas for the 10th consecutive year. We are here on tour with the WPBA Classic Tour. Not many places we'd rather be, for sure. Mitch Lawrence and my partner in the booth today, Dawn Hopkins. Dawn, congratulations on a great finish this week. 5th place for you. I know you're happy.
Thank you, Mitch.
You also know what it means to compete out here on tour with the best players in the world, and this semifinal matchup, on paper at least, does not seem to be much of a matchup. Karen Corr riding another wave. She won the first tournament of the year out here on tour. Sarah Ellerby, a great player in her own right, coming into her own, but she'd have to be considered the underdog this week.
She would, but you know what? She's in the top 16, and she earned her way there. So this match here, she could, make her career go forward, which would be awesome for her.
As we await the opening break here in semifinal action between Karen Corr and Sarah Ellerby, let's look at our road to the finals, presented by Ozone Billiards, your online source for billiard supplies. And that road, the winner of this match, will lead directly to #3 ranked Kelly Fisher Quickfire with her victory in her semifinal matchup over Allison Fisher, knocking off the #1 player in the world. Kelly Fisher, the defending champion here at the San Diego Classic. And now we are down to 3, and Sarah Ellerby, Velvet, already with her highest tournament finish on tour. A great, great accomplishment. We'll try to keep it going against Karen Corr. And Dawn, going to be very interesting to see how Sarah starts out, because this is always kind of a nerve-wracking situation.
Well, she took it easy with the break there. The #1 thing that she was concentrating on is to make sure that she controlled her cue ball. So she didn't put a lot of power into that, and unfortunately for her, did not make a ball. Here's the 1 right here, and the 2 is over here on this rail. So I think if Karen shoots the 1 and just gets the cue ball back over to the same rail as the 2, she'll be able to play the 2 down in the left corner.
Now, one thing you do not want to do if you're Sarah Ellerby is come out tentative at all. In a race to 7, a short race, and here are the rules of the game. It's 7, a race to 7, alternating break, 30-second shot clock, 1 extension per rack, and cue ball fouls only. But if you are Sarah, you want to get out there and be aggressive. You want to feel yourself in the match right away. And soft break and nothing on the break, and Karen at the table already. Something you got to watch out for.
Yep. Sarah does have to put the pressure on Karen right away, because she wants to make sure that Karen knows that if Karen makes a mistake, that Sarah's going to take advantage of that mistake. She's going to have to go around that 6 ball, because her next shot is down about where she's standing. Perfect. She went around that ball perfect.
Nice speed, and as Karen looks over the table at her next shot, we will mention this fantastic playing equipment. The table I mentioned, there it is, the Gold Crown by Brunswick, Centennial Balls, and the Big Break Rack, also by Brunswick, and Simonis 860 cloth on the Gold Crown. Wonderful equipment for the best players in the world. And Karen Corr, this is the other part of why you want to try to keep the other players seated, Dawn. Karen getting a real feel for the table early, getting a chance to stay there, whereas Sarah's just kind of sitting now, and the only shot she had was the break. All of this plays a part.
Karen's going to have to punch this off the rail pretty good. So you got to, because she's going to hit it. Wow, that was great. That was great. It was almost straight in. Now she is straight in on the 6, but lucky for her, the 7 is hanging almost in the pocket. It's pretty close to the pocket down below. So Karen doesn't have to make sure that she gets off the rail too much. She's going rail first a little bit.
And this is showing me right off the bat that Karen Corr is very, very comfortable in this situation. Moving the cue ball around.
I believe she's straight in again, Mitch, so she may have to draw the cue ball back to play the 8 in the side, unless she can push the cue ball over slightly. I can't tell with the angle right here. That's a tester. Look at her. She's got a little bit of stress going on in the facial expressions.
I have to do some work here on the 8.
Great shot.
There you go.
Great shot.
And it looked very easy. Stretched out, and if you're Karen Corr, you got to love that opening rack. And if you are Sarah Ellerby, you making nothing on the break and giving her a chance. Karen Corr up by an early rack here in Alpine. Inside the Viejas Casino with the number 2 ranked player in the world, Karen Corr. I always have such fun around you. I wish people could get much more of an idea of this side of Karen Corr. What is it about you that when, I know you're all business when you're here, but when you're away from the table, you have so much fun. Can't we just maybe see some kind of laughs while you're playing? Just maybe a joke or two while you're in the middle of a rack?
I sure might surprise you someday. You never know. We'll leave that for the question mark.
All right, laughs aside,
Okay.
because we have to be serious now. You started off the tour season by winning right off the bat. That had to make you feel great. How do you keep coming back and just keep fighting the fight?
Well, I put my job application in for McDonald's, but I'm afraid they didn't employ me, so I guess this is the best I have for now. So I guess the practice will pay off someday.
All right, see, there you go, the application to McDonald's. All right, well, good luck in the fight.
Thanks very much.
The Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic is brought to you by Simonis Cloth. Since 1680, the cloth of champions. By the American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league. And by Brunswick Billiards. Since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. Inside the Dreamcatcher showroom at Viejas Casino, and a perfect chance to talk to Sarah Ellerby, who's trying to catch a dream of her own here this week. You came over from England. Your journey from there to here has been an interesting one. Everybody thinks about the game of just learning kind of what's about the table is about. But you have been on an interesting journey of your own in terms of a physical change, a really big change in how you're dealing with the physical nature of the game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I lost 90 pounds on just, diet. I needed to lose weight, and ever since that, that time, I've had to, what I work out in the gym, I work out 4 or 5 days a week, it's and do a lot of yoga, and it's really helped me mentally. I've been playing for so long, it's muscle memory still is there, but it's really in my head, and working out and getting myself into good shape and sort of looking at myself as an athlete, like we all should do. it's really changed. It's really changed me as a person.
Well, you're one of the hardest working players out here, and it's obviously paying off, so good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sarah Ellerby at the table down 1-0 to Karen Corr here. Semi-final action at the Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic. Karen with the first rack in hand after Sarah came up dry on the break, and now Sarah with a chance to establish some kind of control over the second rack, and she needs it. Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins bringing you the action.
She's got a shot down the rail with the 4-ball. She can either hold the cue ball there for the 5 in the side, which is just what she did.
Sarah with a very strong week here in Alpine after a couple of the first 2 events of the year. The first one, the Carolinas Classic, which Karen Corr won, but the first 2 events of the year, Dawn, Sarah had a lot of physical problems. Injury to her arm, her neck wasn't great. Very, very low finishes, had a lot of trouble playing, and has worked since then, given that this is the 3rd event of the year, to try to get back, and she is. She's had a very strong week here. Told me she was very grateful to be in a position to really play without the kind of pain that she was having before. Every athlete knows what it means to not be 100%. It's tough enough out here playing against great players.
That's for sure.
But when you're not 100%, it makes it that much tougher, and she's got a tough
She
little
left
shot here in the
herself
8th.
a little bad here. I almost thought she might use the 9 to slow the cue ball down, and maybe that's what she meant to do. It's a makeable shot. She just has to pocket it down in the corner, but see, she's close to the rail, so bridging the hand becomes hard because now your hand is up higher off the table than you want it to be.
And I was going to say, I know it's early in this match, but that was a crucial shot, I think, for Sarah.
And she did shoot that tentatively, again, kind of like that first break. I just think Sarah isn't letting her game out yet. And understandably so. She hasn't been on TV that often, and it's puts a lot more pressure on you when you're in a spot like this that you've never been in before. You don't have that familiar feeling that you know, somebody who, like Karen, who's been out there a lot.
And we talk about Allison and Karen. This is the part of every tournament where they begin to really shine. And in fairness to Sarah, as Dawn said, you have to have the chances. So you don't want to let this get away early, but Karen Corr will make you pay for any mistakes you make. 2 racks gone, Karen Corr up by 2 racks. We thank them, Karen Corr and Sarah Ellerby. Semi-final action. One of them will move into the finals against Kelly Fisher, the defending champion in this 10th year. Kelly would love to defend that title. Karen Corr would like to win one for the 3rd time here in Alpine. And Sarah would like nothing more than to make it her first WPBA Classic Tour title. Let's see if she can get one on the board, Dawn. She really, really needs to do something here and make her mark.
Well, she did start off with the 1 in the side pocket. You can see it rolling around in the pocket still. And here's the 2 along the rail. The 3 is out here, so it's a long shot. She's going to have to bear down after that miss on the 8. I'm sure that she knows that she's just going to have to capitalize. This is not a good position for her to be in here, though, Mitch. She has what I like to call a tweener. If you shoot it up in the corner, you're worried about the scratch in the side, and of course it's really too much of a cut in the side. Very, very tough shot. She might catch the point if she follows it with a little inside. There you go. Awesome shot. Awesome shot.
Now, of course, there's the
lovely 4-8 combination. Well, here she could play safe, bring the 4 over there, and the cue ball behind those balls there if she's not comfortable with the
She's
combination.
definitely going safe, yep.
I would have liked the other safety better because, but, you know, again, it's all about feel, and it looks different out there than it does down here. Now Karen has an option to play a safe here. She can't do what she did last time, which was to bank the 4 and stick the cue ball behind the 5 because of the 7. So she may just thin it. Just like that. So now Sarah is kicking at the ball. Sarah's going to come 1 rail into the 4. And you see the 5 sitting by the pocket here? If Sarah can get a good hit on that and it hits into that 5, she might make the 4 in the side pocket.
Crowd yelling out, nice job, Sarah. They have been so supportive all week, even at 10 o'clock in the morning. Certain matches start during the course of the week, full fan capacity in the bleachers.
These are very friendly people out here, Mitch.
Just outside of San Diego. If you haven't been here, worth a trip. Beautiful little village.
I guess with all the sun and the good weather they get out here, it's no wonder
that
they're
says
all so
something
happy. Not like, you know, being in some cold part of the world.
Now this rack has opened up considerably for Karen Corr.
Now, a little while ago, I was in the other room with Karen, and she was munching on just a little bit of a sandwich, and she told me something interesting, that she actually needs to eat little bits here and there because her blood sugar gets low and she gets starving during the match. So it's funny how players are different. Some players don't want to eat anything a couple hours before, but Karen needs to just have a little bit to keep her energy up.
But you have to know yourself, and you got to know your body and how it works. I mean, any athlete does. If you're not really clear and very sharp, you're just not going to play your best, period. And Karen Corr showing you what happens when she is sharp.
Well, and think if you're really, really hungry, your mind is a little bit confused, and so you don't focus very well.
I've had that happen before.
You mean not now?
Not now. I'm fine right now, thanks. Good work by Karen. And if you're Sarah Ellerby, this is not what you want to see in a race to 7. The number 2 ranked player in the world with 3 consecutive racks. The Irish Invader, staking her claim to a trip to the finals and a meeting with Kelly Fisher, Sarah Ellerby has already got her work cut out for her. The Viejas Band of the Kumeyaay Indians has created a true mecca here in Alpine, California. The Viejas Casino, the Dreamcatcher Showroom, the site of the Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic, and Karen Corr with a quick 3-0 lead in a race to 7 over Sarah Ellerby for a trip to the finals and a meeting with 3rd-ranked Kelly Fisher. 3 players left out of the 64 that started this week on the WPBA Classic Tour, Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins. And Dawn, one of those 64, a great finish for her, finishing 5th this week here. And Karen will take a seat. Nothing on the break for her, and Sarah Ellerby would love to try to make something happen, but...
Well, look at the 7 ball. I didn't even realize it was there because it's so deep, and it's almost the color of the cloth. So here's the 1 up here. Actually, Karen's probably fortunate that she didn't make that ball, any ball in the break. Because Karen definitely has the advantage here. Sarah can't really play a good safety in that position. She can only do a push, but now Karen can just thin the one, bring the cue ball down behind this selection of balls in the middle of the table there. So it was a disadvantage, really, for Sarah that Karen didn't make a ball.
It's just so interesting sometimes. You know, I'm thinking about Sarah right now, and you fight all week. And then you start off and don't make anything on the first break, and all of a sudden, before you turn around, you're down 3-0 in a race to 7, and the pressure is on.
Well, that's why it was so important for Sarah to make that 8 in the second rack. But we'll see. She might get out of this one. Not that time. She's going to make this 7. Too bad that didn't count.
Yeah. But that 7 will stay down. And ball in hand for the Irish invader.
She's going to slide the cue ball down one rail. She doesn't want to come down too far because of the 3. Don't come down behind that 3. Uh-oh. Oh, was that close? I think she's okay, but
We didn't see Karen move until that cue ball stopped rolling. And she's all right. You see it by the slimmest of margins.
and you know Sarah's got to be at the edge of her seat, like praying that it did go down too far. And here we got the 3. We're going to have to come out for the 4. Now Karen's going to need to leave some sort of an angle because she's got to make the 5 next after the 4. So there's that angle, which is great. Just pocket the 4. Cue ball comes out to this side of the table. Be good if she could get straight on the 5. Karen even said she has not been playing really well the whole tournament. She's been very spotty.
It's been an interesting week. A lot of kind of breakthrough weeks for different players. Getting to various points further along in the event than they might have gotten to before. Fantastic finishes by some of those players, but at the end, in the top 4, you had the first, second, and third ranked players in the world, and Allison and Karen and Kelly Fisher now. Sarah Ellerby, the one player who broke through, and here's an opportunity if that cue ball will roll far enough to give her a shot on the 5.
Wow, that was something, I'll tell you. And that's why I said she would have wanted to been straight on the 5. And Sarah really needs this rack. Well, this is tougher than she wants it to be. It's very makeable in either pocket. Okay, but of course it would have been nice to be here, wouldn't it, Mitch? But instead now she can shoot it down in this corner, come around for the 8. She's going to have to let her stroke out a little bit. Great shot, very, very nicely done.
I'm
Stayed
liking that.
with it.
Exactly right. I'm liking the fact that she really concentrated and stayed on what was not a real comfortable shot, and that's something that Sarah's been working on, Dawn. She's a tireless worker physically. Lost 90 pounds, has really worked on the physical aspect of the game, and because of the injury we spoke of earlier, she's been able to take time away from the physical part and has worked on the mental part, the focus, the balance that you have to have inside to be able to make shots at critical times.
I think she
And
needs
of
to
course,
get back to the yoga drawing
as
board.
I said it, there's the one shot that she wants back right now. No question about it.
Don't worry, Sarah. I know the feeling. And Karen's got a tough little bank here. Gonna have to bank it cross-side. Did not make it. Oh, this is it. Sarah's got another chance. This one's going in.
This
Rich.
one you better capitalize on.
If she doesn't, she might as well go home.
All right. Any way she slices it, that is one on the board for Sarah Ellerby, and a big one it is. Still trailing by 2 racks, but a little bit closer. Alpine, California, the site of the Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Sarah Ellerby, Velvet, her nickname. She got that from her background working with horses. National Velvet, of course. Very famous film. Her dad, Mike, a horse trainer for 17 years. Sarah worked as his assistant for 4. And the game, trying to get to the point where Velvet is how it feels all the time. Sometimes you just got to get in there and duke it out, Dawn.
That's right. She's going to be duking out this 2-ball right now. 2 in the corner, 3 right next to it. Now the 9 is there, so she's got to slow roll this or choose to play it a little harder to bring the cue ball up above the 9, which is what she's done. That's great. That way you don't have to hold up on your stroke.
And a good break and a good opportunity for Sarah here. Down 1-3, race to 7.
Far, but that's okay. It's pretty straight. Now here's a key right here, Mitch. You got to think about this because there's 3 balls you need to focus on. The 4, but the 5 to the 6, because the 6 is in the middle rail down there. So this is really important to get good position. And she's done great here. She's got an angle so that she can draw the cue ball over here. The 8 could be a problem. So Sarah has to think about that right now. The other thing Sarah has to watch out for is not to move that 8 while the cue ball is heading in that direction, because that would be a foul. And she did it perfectly.
Well, that's a good shot. So easy to miss the shot that before that. Coming down, just making sure you've got position on the 6. Looks like she has just a hair of an angle there.
She might. And coming off the rail isn't good here because the 6 is in the middle of the table. It's too far away from the pocket to be accurate with it. So, yeah, she just elected to take the long shot. But I wish she would have drawn it back just slightly because she's got an awful tough go here, Mitch. She has to smack this ball so that... oh, that was beautiful.
Hello. That's the kind of shot that if you're looking for some confidence, taking your medicine, taking a long, tough shot, and then making it. Got to tell you something.
Okay, Mitch, look at this. This is almost, well, she's not on the rail this time. That's the difference. The last 9 that she missed was this shot, but it was on the rail.
A good sign for Sarah Ellerby. Back-to-back racks now against Karen Corr. And we've definitely got a match here in the semifinals. As tournament director Steve Tipton gets ready, gives us a chance to thank 2 of our great official products on tour, the Brunswick Big Break Rack and Centennial Balls, also by Brunswick. At the Viejas Casino, beautiful Brunswick gold crown table. That's the focal point of everybody in here right now. Karen Corr and Sarah Ellerby. Karen Corr with the first 3 racks of this race to 7. Sarah Ellerby fighting back, winning rack 4 and 5. Now trailing still by a rack, but so much closer. And now a lot more confidence. There goes the 1 for Karen.
Well, she moved the cue ball off the rail when she broke that time. So I think she's, but she was less accurate in the break, even though she made the 1. Cue ball is here with the 2. There's not a shot there, I don't believe. Well, maybe she can thin it. I think she's going to play it safe. Yep. Sarah's got a shot here. She's got an opening.
And up very, very quickly to look at it.
Off the rail. I'm not saying straight on. She doesn't have a shot straight on, but if Karen had put her here, the kick would have even been hard. But at least here, Sarah can easily kick at this ball. That was very nicely played. Very good speed. Or you can just do what Karen Corr does best.
Wow. Everything seemed to move in slow motion on that shot to me. Just the time and the care she took with it, the quiet in the room, and everybody impressed with the result, that's for sure. And when great players play, there seem to be trouble spots, and then with one fell swoop, the rack kind of clears up a little bit and enough, and you can see it. Let's take another look. This is just absolutely fantastic. Just avoiding it there. 2 goes. Shape on the 3. Beautiful, beautiful work by Karen Corr. Wants it to stop.
Don't do
Wants it
that.
to stop.
After all that work to go and scratch, that would be horrid. She's going to draw the cue ball back, I believe, and play the 6 in the corner.
So if you're Sarah, you think you've played a good safety in a very, very difficult shot for Karen Corr. And then you remember why she's ranked 2nd in the world.
Then you know you have to play a better safety the next time.
Exactly right.
And that's the way you have to look at it. If somebody gets lucky or whatever, that wasn't luck. That was pure skill what she did. But if someone had gotten lucky because they hit the ball, or Karen makes a great shot like that, it's really, you needed to play a better safety so that she couldn't see the ball. Going to draw the cue ball back to the rail. And then just has that angle to come over for the 9.
Fully stretched out. You get a good look at a lot of these shots that are just dead center on the pocket. Sometimes you want to move it around. Not necessarily, you just have to make it, but when the strokes are sure and powerful, and the ball is being pocketed that way, so pretty to watch. Karen Corr puts an end to Sarah Ellerby's little run of 2 racks with a dazzling display in rack number 6 and back up to a 2-rack lead. As we enter our 10th year here at the Dreamcatcher showroom at Viejas, and we say thanks again to everyone associated with Viejas Casino. Great history on the WPBA Classic Tour. Anytime you can get an event at one venue for a decade, it says so much about the community, the people involved, because it really takes a lot to just keep coming and making this such a fantastic home for all of us. Sarah Ellerby has enjoyed this week, but she wants to make it better. Her highest finish ever on tour. But she needs to start moving here against Karen Corr, down 2-4 in a race to 7. Nothing on the break.
No, it's hard to get moving on Karen if you can't make a ball on the break. Here's the 1. Well, the 2 is down here, and Karen could try to play the 1 in the side. Cue ball would come around the table for the 2. This would be a very, very tough shot. And look at that. Uh-oh. Wow, she deserved a shot after that, though, because that was a tough cut. Just getting the jump cue out. Karen's going to have to get up and down very quick because in order to make the 2, she's got to hit it thin. And I've watched cue balls fly off the table in this kind of a shot if you don't get it up and down very quick. Great attempt and rewarded.
Did not like the result of that one.
No, left Karen straight in. Karen squeezes right by that 7. Just going to slowly roll the 3 into the 6. So the 3 stays right there. Now she can stop the cue ball fairly close to where it is now because she needs that angle to come down to the rail for the 5.
We mentioned earlier Sarah Ellerby's week here and how strong it was. Karen Corr, no less strong with 5 consecutive victories. Anna Kostanian, Ellen Van Buren, Belinda Calhoun, Jennifer Chen, Jennifer Beretta all going down here in Alpine.
Oh. Got a little straight there, but that's okay. There's enough angle to create something. Karen can either draw the cue ball back this way for the 7 on the rail here, or she can come around 2 rails with spin. Let's watch the scratch in the side. She's okay.
So interesting to me that of our 4 semifinalists, the 4 left of the 64 that started the week here in Alpine, all British Isles imports. 3 English women in Alison Fisher, Kelly Fisher, and Sarah Ellerby. An Irish woman, Karen Corr.
It has to say something about the technique that they use over there for snooker. You know, the different stance that we're used to seeing now. It was new to us before Allison came on board. And just their training. You know, these players have put an awful lot of dedication into their game.
So after 3 racks to open this match, covered by Sarah Ellerby, and now back-to-back racks for the Irish Invader, she jumps back to a 3-rack lead in Alpine. As we celebrate our 10th anniversary at the Viejas Casino, we want to thank everyone for their hospitality as always. Newly expanded with the hip new V-Lounge where you can hang, great shopping across the street, fantastic service. Thanks, as always, to the Viejas Casino. As we find ourselves in the middle of rack number 8 here at the Viejas Casino, semifinal action at the Brunswick Billiards San Diego Classic, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Karen Corr, the Irish Invader, up 5-2 over Velvet. Sarah Ellerby trying to fight her way back and pick up another rack. Safety battle here at the beginning of rack number 8. And then a missed jump shot by Karen opened the door, and Sarah Ellerby needs to go directly through it. Try to fight her way back into this match. Oh.
I think her heart was palpitating a little there. Okay, here's the key spot. 6 again. Here's from earlier that 6 is on the same spot, frozen to the rail. So she's going to need to be straight in on this 5 to draw it back for the 6. Oh my gosh. That was just totally thinking about your next shot and taking your focus off what you're doing. You have to be in the moment. You can't be thinking of what the future is going to bring.
You know what? That part of that is what we had talked about earlier about Sarah's work and what she's doing and trying to pay a lot more attention to the mental side, and the focus is obviously a key part of it. Interesting to find out later on how she felt. The results were obvious there. I think what you said is totally true. So often you take it's just a split second.
Well,
lapse.
This game, I mean, think about it. You're playing matches sometimes for 2 hours. You're playing a lot of matches all in the 4-day period. So you've got to do this continual over the 4 days. And pool is a game where you're shooting 9 balls on the table. So for every 9 shots, you have to totally focus your mind. I know players like in golf. I forget what golf woman player it was, but she used to sit at home and practice that by like staring at a doorknob and trying to focus on that doorknob, because when she gets out on the golf course, that training is going to help her. So pool is very similar. You have to find ways outside of the game to learn to train your mind to stay on one object. And of course, if you're like me, who has 10 million things to focus on. What is it, ADF, whatever? Then
we could just say you have a little trouble focusing, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're not going to do good in this sport.
Well, certainly we have watched as Karen Corr over the years has shown us the power of her focus and her game. Sarah will be finding out now. You just can't make those kind of mistakes. It's as simple as that. When you're playing Karen Corr and you're the top players, and Sarah will be the first one to tell you that. You just can't make these mistakes. She's had a fantastic week, but these mistakes are now costing her. This 9 ball for the hill for Karen Corr. And there she sits, perched 1 game away from a trip to the final. Sarah Ellerby trailing by 4 racks now. The Brunswick Billiards. Available in San Diego. We are in our 10th year at the Viejas Casino, and as we are in the middle of rack number 9, Karen Corr with a 6-2 lead on the hill. The rest of this rack away from a trip to the finals and a meeting with Kelly Fisher. And here is how Karen Corr got ball in hand. You will see it after this 2 goes. Sarah Ellerby with a tricky shot here. Should have been able to make contact, Dawn. Just slides behind the one right there. Misses it. And that's the result. Sitting in your chair while Karen Corr attempts to run out the rest of this rack.
This is a hard rack to run out, Mitch, because she's got to make this 3, get position on the 4. But see where the 5 is? The 5 is down the rail. Oh, don't get behind that 8. This is not an easy run out right here. Now she's going to have to draw the 4 ball straight back and hope that it has enough angle to get by that 8 ball. Key shot right here, Mitch. Nope, didn't do it. That's what I was worried about. It was so straight. So now she'll just play a safe. She'll thin the 5. She does have a 9 and a 6 down there where she is. So if she thins the 5 and just brings the cue ball back down that way, then even if Sarah is able to see it, then I don't think she's going to have any kind of a shot at it. So that works. That's a winning safe right there. Sarah can't cut it in here. She can only see one part of the 5, so you know that she's going to hit on this side of the 5. Sarah may try to bring the 5 over here, the cue ball there. There's not a very good safety that Sarah can play now. She also could bank it down this way, leaving the cue ball up there, but really nothing great that she can do here. Well, that's pretty darn good.
Right there. That is a good play right there.
I didn't even think of that one. Okay, Karen's going to bring that jump cue out, I'll bet.
You have got to keep playing those kinds of shots, even if it doesn't wind up mattering for this match. For the next time you get here, for the next ones, just to keep working on hitting quality shots. And that was a beautiful, beautiful shot by Sarah Ellerby.
Oh, great try. Well, and plus, Mitch, I think, you know, if you're at Sarah's level, which is a top-ranked player, it's not in you to give up at any point in the match.
I wasn't talking about giving up. I was talking just more about not paying particular attention, you know, not really giving that 100% effort all the time when it's at that point. And now she's rewarded. Let's see what happens with the 6 here. But at least she's rewarded by coming to the table as opposed to Karen finishing the match in this round.
Right. It's got her work cut out. The angle is such that if she pockets the 6 there, the cue ball's coming this way, but see where the 7 is? So she's going to have to probably try to back cut the 6. Even then, it's going to be hard to hold the cue ball, but that's probably the shot. Great shot.
That's the kind of work Sarah Ellerby has been doing this week. It's what Dawn was talking about when you're frustrated that you're not pulling all that out the way you did at the beginning of the week. You're going, oh, sure, there were 400 or 500 people here all week. I played great. And then, I was going to say, millions of people watching on TV, and you missed some shots.
Right.
It's like that.
And it's taped. That's the bad thing. It's taped so you can see it over and over.
Well, this is about chances. And I think Sarah is strong enough, like I said before, to know that that is all you can ask, is to have the chances.
She'll be there again.
Yep.
She's a good enough player. She'll be here again. And like I said before, she'll be more experienced next time. And that's the way you have to look at it.
Karen Corr will do her best to end this right now. And with 1 ball left, it's looking very much like that's what's going to happen. There you go. The Irish Invader. 1 more tacked onto that belt of victories Handshakes all around, but her work is still in front of her. Kelly Fisher waits in the finals. A great week for Sarah Ellerby. Congratulations to her.